So then guys, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is finally here. Now, loads of YouTubers are out there comparing it to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And yeah, that is a great phone to compare it to, but I know what most of you guys are like. Most of you have not been upgrading every single year. So there's obviously going to be a few of you out there who upgrade you to a new iPhone every year, but the majority of you will be upgrading from a phone, say, 2 years ago or even 3 years ago. And this is what this video is for. It's for you guys out there who have probably come to the end of your contract or coming to the end of your contract and considering going from an iPhone 15 Pro Max to the likes of an iPhone 17 Pro Max. So I've been using both of these phones now for days, side by side, and today I want to give you a full review. I'll break down all the major upgrades, real world performance, and whether this phone is definitely worth upgrading to. So overall, we're going to see how the iPhone 17 Pro Max stacks up and whether the iPhone 15 Pro Max still holds its ground. Both phones keep that Apple's premium look, but the materials are different this time. The iPhone 15 Pro Max, for example, has that titanium frame, and this was the first iPhone to do this. It's lightweight, it's strong, and the first for iPhones. But this year, Apple decided to go for a forged aluminum unibody on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. It's an aerospace grade 7000 series. It feels solid, it's more balanced, and it's slightly more durable in day-to-day handling. Now, obviously, there has been some complaints about scratching. That's a story for another day, made a video about that. But the bezels are slimmer on this phone compared to, say, the iPhone 15 Pro Max on its screen. And then the camera bump as well, as Apple likes to call it, the actual camera kind of plateau that we've got right here. Well, that it looks quite cool, and obviously it does have its purposes too. And one of those purposes I've noticed straight away is that if you actually put the iPhone 16 Pro Max on a desk and try to wobble it, it wobbles a fair bit. Compared to the iPhone 17 Pro Max, it does wobble, but not as much. But going back to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, that did come out with a 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR display, and that was stunning at the time it came out. But the iPhone 17 Pro Max steps up to that 6.9-inch display, first introduced last year. It's got the thinner bezels, and it feels just more immersive, and it's noticeably brighter. The likes of the iPhone 17 Pro Max has 3000 nits, or we can go up to 3000 nits now outdoors, whereas the iPhone 15 Pro Max can only go up to 2000 nits of brightness. So in bright sun, I could still read messages and frame shots without squinting on this phone. Both these phones still have 120Hz ProMotion HDR True Tone, but the iPhone 17 models also add Ceramic Shield 2 on both sides and anti-reflective coating. Now I will say this, the anti-reflective coating, even underneath artificial light, I can't notice it that much in my honest opinion here, but Apple's saying it is there, but that 3000 nits brightness does help out a little bit too. Now, power-wise, both of these phones are fast, but the 17 Pro Max has the edge now. But do remember that the 15 Pro ran on the A17 Pro chip, and this was one of the biggest leaps that we had in a long time, and also came with 8GB of RAM, and this was brilliant at its time. But the 17 Pro Max, that comes with the A19 Pro chip, and also has 12GB of RAM. This definitely, with this RAM improvement, gives more headroom for opening up more multiple apps for multitasking, and also future iOS updates, because I'm sure like that liquid glass and things like this is probably going to get a little bit more graphic intense there. And even for benchmarks like Geekbench, what you can see right here, it has done a really great job here, how we've got an improvement, and also Antutu as well. You can see the score right here. You can see the gains here in what we're getting with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. But what I do want to make clear here is that the iPhone 15 Pro Max is still more than capable. It is still a great phone and still got great power inside of it. But with that, let's now move on to cameras. With the iPhone 17 Pro Max, I'm going to say the biggest upgrade you're going to get inside of this phone over the 15 Pro Max is 3 48 megapixels lenses and sensors inside this phone, whereas just the normal main sensor was a 48 megapixel inside of this, and we had a 12 megapixel ultra wide and 5x telephoto. So yeah, the 17 Pro Max actually has boosted out here. And to be honest, I've even taken some photos with both of these phones. So I went outside, went out into the hills here, and then what I decided to do was I decided to focus on this lovely view here, and there's it's kind of like a windmill, one of those air windmills in the background, and I did some zoom testing. So starting out with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, this here is a 0.5 zoom. Then after that, we have the 1x zoom. Then after that, we have the 2x zoom. Then we have the 5x zoom. I want to show you a 10x zoom, and then also the maximum you can go was 25x zoom capability on this phone. And then the likes of the iPhone 17 Pro Max, where you also have that 0.5 zoom capability. Then you can go up to a 1x zoom, 2x zoom, but this time you can go up to a 4x zoom, then an 8x zoom, then the 10x zoom, and let me show you that 25x zoom. Again, very similar to like the iPhone 16 Pro Max, but clearer, but then you can push this up even further, up to a 40x zoom capability. What is absolutely amazing what you get on this phone. But it's not just the rear cameras that have been upgraded. Also, the front-facing camera has been upgraded now. We have that 18 megapixel front-facing camera now, what really does shine in this. And obviously what you can do is you can do the kind of normal kind of shot, portrait, and then you can also do the likes of a kind of a landscape shot just by operating it on the phone, what is really handy. We still got that 12 megapixel camera inside the likes of the iPhone 15 Pro Max, what is still quite capable, but obviously the iPhone 17 Pro Max does do a better job here. But then what about videos? Well, I've done some video testings back in those hills again, and have a look at the difference. Let's start with the iPhone 15 Pro Max first of all. So at 0.5x zoom here on the likes of the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but obviously we can go up to a 1x zoom, then the 2x zoom, you can see the windmill there, and then obviously the 5x, you can see a lot more clearer there, but then obviously we got the digital crop, and we can keep going up here all the way to a 15x zoom capability here on a digital zoom. So that is pretty cool still, even today. So that was quite impressive for the iPhone 15 Pro Max with its video, but what about the iPhone 17 Pro Max with its video? Well, I'm going to show you this. So I'm on the iPhone 17 Pro Max here. This is a 0.5x zoom, but if I punch it up to a 1x zoom, you can see the zoom. Can you see the windmill in the background there? It's quite far away, but we're going to punch it right up to a 2x zoom. That's where we're at there. Then a 4x zoom, you can see it even more clearer. And then we can push it all the way up to the 8x zoom there. This is the optical range that Apple are saying here. But there is the digital zoom, and we can actually go all the way up to a 24x digital zoom with video. You know, I'm trying to keep it stable here. But yeah, that does quite a good job there. But I'm also, after I do my zoom there, I'm going to show you another zoom test where I use the new dual video feature. Check this out. And also, just to show you guys, this is the dual camera mode option. I think this is pretty cool. So you can actually see me. This is what I'm seeing here, the zoom. Let's see, there's my hand. See? Look at that. That's pretty cool. And just want to show you here. Look, so this is 0.5. I can go up to the 1x, the 2x. Oh, I went up to 4 there, but there we go. That's 4x instead then. But then obviously you've got the 8x zoom there. And then obviously I can still do that pinch ups kind of zoom up to the 24x zoom, just to show you guys there. That is what you can actually do with this phone, what is pretty neat. So that was quite impressive of what we get with the video capabilities on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. But another big upgrade we got was Apple introduced the vapor chamber cooling inside the iPhone 17 Pro Max. And while I'm not a gaming hardcore on this phone, it does make a difference in heat management. What I'm going to show you here, for example, is running some benchmarks. I actually did a thermal kind of test here, and you can see the difference in thermals here between both of these phones. So that definitely means that if you're exporting big files and things like this, or for example, you're doing kind of video recordings, all sorts like that, it's really going to actually help out here. So if you are someone who does a lot of video, photo editing or multitasking, this added thermal control is quite noticeable inside of this phone. But the iPhone 15 Pro Max also had a great battery life inside of it, often outstanding even Android flagships today, some of them out there, not all, but some. But the 17 Pro Max pushes this out even further this year. It has a larger battery inside of it. It has a more efficient A19 Pro chip. In daily use, I got around about 8 hours screen on time on the 17, whereas with the 15, I got around about 6 to 7 hours here. And this obviously means, you know, recording videos, camera use, gaming, Bluetooth audio, you get the idea here. Charging is also faster as well. You can also plug in one of those new dynamic power adapters. I've got Google's one right here, and obviously you can charge up your iPhone at 40 watts, and 0 to 50% can be done in about 20 minutes on this 17, versus when you got the iPhone 15, it takes around about 30 minutes. So yeah, it's a little bit longer there. And then MagSafe wireless charging has changed between both those. Obviously you have that vapor chamber to help out cooling, but the likes on the actual charging capabilities as well, you can actually go up to 25 watts here, where you can have 15 watts still on the likes of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So 25 watts, 17 Pro Max, 15 watts on the 15 Pro Max. That is quite a difference there. Both of these phones also have USB-C in the bottom of them, and transfer speeds I would say are going to be exactly the same here if you're using the right cable. They can both use USB 3.2 here at 10 gigabits. But then next of all, for storage options, both these phones start at 256 gigabytes of storage, but the 15 topped out at the likes of 1 terabyte, and the 17 Pro Max, for the first time ever, can go all the way up to 2 terabytes, which honestly feels a bit overkill. But if you start recording at, say, 4K 60 ProRes videos, you're going to fill up your phone quite easily there. So yeah, maybe that 2 terabytes might be a good option for those kind of people out there who like to do a lot of video recording. But both these devices run iOS 26. But what I would also say here is that there's not that much difference at this stage. Both of them can run exactly the same features on these phones. There's no differences there. But I'm sure as iOS 27, 28 or whatever into the future, having that extra bit more power in the A19 Pro and also having that extra RAM, I think that some of those abilities are going to start to slowly go missing in the future updates for the likes of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. But overall, for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, it gives us a brighter display, it gives us bigger battery, it gives us better cameras, faster internals, and also it gives us some finer refinements inside the likes of, say, software and also thermal design too. But if you've got an iPhone 15 Pro Max already, it's still a great phone, and I believe it will be for a while yet. I would only be upgrading this if you are on a contract, you've come to it, and that you've got the money to afford a 17 Pro Max. You go, why not? Let's just upgrade. That is probably one of the big reasons I'd only do it. Apart from that, I'd say keep out your 15 Pro Max for a little while longer, because it's still a great phone, and it will be for a very long time. But then what I would say, if you're coming from an iPhone 14 Pro Max, the story might be a little bit different. And in fact, we have a video coming up very soon about that, where I'm going to be comparing the iPhone 17 Pro Max to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And if you want to see that video, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell too. But on that note, guys, it's time to wrap up the video. What do you think? Do you think it's worth upgrading? Well, let me know in the comments below. And also on that note as well, guys, it's time to wrap up the video. So yeah, if you have enjoyed watching it, please do make sure that you press the like button. And as always, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews, and comparisons, again, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Until next time, guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye bye.